The Mahabharata. I mean, what an epic, right? It's this sprawling story of gods, demons, and kingdoms at war. But really, at its core, it's a story about its warriors, absolute legends whose names we still talk about thousands of years later. And today, we're going to rank them.
So who was it? This is the ultimate debate, isn't it? Was it the incredible archer Arjuna, the tragic but powerful Karna, or what about the unbeatable grandsire Bhishma? You probably have your favorite, but today we are going to try and find a definitive answer.
And to do that, we have to go straight to the source. And I'm not talking about folklore or TV shows. We're using the Bhandakar Oriental Research Institute's Critical Edition. This is the most scholarly, most authentic version of the Mahabharata out there. It basically strips away all the stuff that was added over the centuries to get to the original story.
So, here's how we're going to do this. Our approach is pretty straightforward. We're only looking at mortal warriors and how they actually performed during the Kurukshetra War. We're going to break them down into 4 tiers of power and then count down from number 20 all the way to the undisputed number 1.
Okay, let's kick off our countdown with what we're calling the C and B tiers. Now, these are the skilled fighters, the strategic leaders who, while they might not be the absolute most powerful, the war effort would have crumbled without them. They were crucial.
All right, starting us off at number 20 is Bhagadatta. This guy was a master of elephant warfare, and his war elephant, Suprapritika, was basically a living tank on the battlefield. At 19, you've got the ruthless Kritavarma, a key Yadava commander and, get this, one of the very few Kaurava leaders to actually survive the war. Then we have the Pandava twins. At 18, Sahadeva, who is said to be so wise he could literally see the future, and at 17, his brother Nakula, an absolutely unmatched swordsman and horseman.
Moving up the list to number 16 is Yudhishthira. Now, his strength wasn't raw power, but his unbreakable commitment to Dharma, that cosmic sense of righteousness and duty. At 15, we have Jayadratha. He used a divine boon to single-handedly hold off the entire Pandava army. This was a massive strategic play that trapped Abhimanyu and led to his downfall. And at 14, well, it's the main villain himself, Duryodhana, a terrifying master of the mace whose pure, raw hatred for the Pandavas is what started this whole war in the first place.
Okay, now we're getting into the big leagues, the A tier. These are the elite of the elite, the generals and prodigies who could completely change the course of a battle in a heartbeat.
Coming in at number 13 is Shalya, a powerful warrior who, funnily enough, did his best work from inside Karna's own chariot, just psychologically tearing him down. At 12, the immortal sage Kripacharya, a quiet but incredibly deadly warrior. Number 11 is King Drupada, a veteran commander who had mastered all forms of combat. And breaking into our top 10 is Satyaki, Arjuna's fiercest student who once, all by himself, held off Drona, Ashwathama, and Kritavarma at the same time. Just an amazing display of skill.
Now, this is a really fascinating comparison, father and son. At number 9, we have Bhima. We all know him. His raw, brute strength was the stuff of legends. I mean, he killed all 100 Kaurava brothers with his bare hands. But just ahead of him at number 8 is his son, Ghatotkacha. His power was totally different. It was all about illusion and mystical warfare. He was so devastating that Karna had to use his one-time-only divine weapon just to take him out.
Sliding into the number 7 spot is the son of Arjuna, the young prodigy, Abhimanyu. His skill was just off the charts. Even at such a young age, he was considered a Maharathi. That's a warrior who can fight 10,000 opponents all at once. Incredible.
And this quote just says it all. Abhimanyu was the only one on the Pandava side, besides his father Arjuna, who knew how to break the terrifying Chakravyuha formation. He fought so ferociously inside that thing that it took 6 of the greatest Kaurava warriors, we're talking Karna, Drona, all of them, breaking the sacred rules of war just to defeat him. Ganging up on a single fighter was forbidden, but they had no other choice. His death was really a testament to his power.
And hey, let's look at another father-son duo to round out the A tier. At number 6, we have Ashwathama, a warrior just packed with celestial weapons, including the nearly unstoppable Naryanastra. But right ahead of him, at number 5, is his father, the great guru Dronacharya. See, Drona wasn't just a fighter. He was a master strategist, the guy who designed the Chakri Vuha. He was so good he could only be defeated by a trick, not an actual combat.
All right, take a breath. We've arrived. The S tier. These aren't just warriors. They are absolute legends. The 4 most powerful fighters on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. This is the best of the best.
And starting off our final four, at number 4, it's the man they called the Tragic Titan, the King of Enga, Karna, a warrior whose whole life was defined by loyalty, tragedy, and this burning need to prove himself.
So this is the key point. Think about this. Even though he was weakened by curses and fighting without his divine armor, the Bauri edition specifically says that on the 17th day of the war, Karna fought Arjuna to a complete standstill. He was the only warrior in the entire epic who could match the great Arjuna, arrow for arrow, in a fair duel.
And that, of course, leads us right to number 3, the hero of the entire epic, the unconquered victor, Arjuna, the third Pandava and the chosen warrior of destiny.
So why is he ranked above his great rival Karna? Well, it comes down to consistency. While Karna fought him as an equal for one day, Arjuna was consistently dominant through the entire war. He had the divine bow, Gandiva, and an entire arsenal of celestial weapons, including the Pashupatastra, which was a personal gift from Lord Shiva. Technically speaking, he was the most skilled and best-equipped archer in the war.
And their rivalry, it is legendary. You have Karna, born in shadow, fighting against a lifetime of curses with nothing but his own willpower. And then you have Arjuna, born into the light, blessed by the gods, and guided by Dharma. It was a battle between sheer determination and divine destiny, which is why their final showdown is one of the greatest moments in all of literature.
So, if Arjuna and Karna are at 3 and 4, who could possibly be number 2? Well, it has to be the grandsire of the Kuru clan, the supreme commander, the son of Ganga. It has to be Bhishma.
Let's be real. Bhishma was basically invincible. He was blessed with the ability to choose the moment of his own death. He had never, not once, been defeated in single combat. For 10 straight days, he just wrecked the Pandava army. His fall wasn't even a real defeat. It was a strategic move. And it only happened because Arjuna bent the rules of war and used Shikhandi as a human shield, knowing Bhishma had vowed never to fight him.
Okay, let's just pause here for a second. If Bhishma, the man who literally could not be killed and was never defeated in a fair fight, if he's only number 2, who in the world could possibly be number 1? Who is more powerful than a warrior like that?
And the answer forces us to completely rethink what it means to be a warrior. Because the greatest power on that battlefield wasn't about the strength in your arms or how many divine weapons you had. No, it was about strategy, intelligence, and the godlike ability to shape the very course of the war itself.
And that is why at number 1, we have the ultimate mastermind of the Mahabharata, Arjuna's charioteer, the divine guide, Sri Krishna.
Think about it. He took a vow not to fight. He never fired a single arrow. But every single major turning point in the war, the fall of Bhishma, the death of Drona, the defeat of Karna, every single one was orchestrated by his divine strategy. His advice was the ultimate weapon, and it's what ensured that Dharma would win. Which leaves us with one final question to ponder. Is the greatest warrior the one who fights the battles, or the one who makes sure they are won? What is true power?